Oh, Dolphins fans, how's it going? It's a beautiful Saturday evening, afternoon, depending on where you are in the United States. Here it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Gotta love Alaska. We have some little tidbits to talk about. Nothing crazy today. Um, Kind of more just speculative a little bit here with things that are about to be happening. We're gonna find out a couple weeks or so from now. About I think it's the 13th is when we find out the schedule. Um, we already know the opponents, obviously, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Kind of what I'm hoping for with this schedule. Obviously, we know that every single time. EM Dolphin fan, what's up, buddy? Uh, every time we have a schedule release, it seems like the Dolphins are always getting screwed, like completely and royally. So I just kind of wanted to touch on the schedule, kind of what we should be looking for and hoping for. Um, Also, got to talk about these new jerseys that are going to be coming out for the AFC East teams and some other small things, UDFA stuff, and free agency and where we're sitting with the cap space and all that. Kind of what to look for, because we're in that spot where we might not have a whole lot of news going on for the next month or so. I mean, small things I'm sure will happen. Hopefully, we have some kind of development from the from free agency from now till more stuff starts happening. End of beginning of June. The month of May is largely going to be not much happening. We got mini camps going on, rookie camp and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's going to be kind of meh. As far as news and developments goes for most NFL teams. I've got right now in the back, I don't know if you can tell, but that is actually Peyton Manning's very first start with the Indianapolis Colts, playing against the Miami Dolphins and Dan Marino. I was watching that earlier. I figured I'd leave that on. Like I said, I always end up watching these older games just for funsies. It's always fun to see. But so I'm gonna start with this alternate jersey talk. Now, some of you guys might not know. Some of you might. The Miami Dolphins got the AFC East, more specifically, got approved for kind of to be guinea pigs for this whole new rivalry jersey initiative that the NFL is going to be looking into and starting out. So the AFC East is the first division that's going to be doing this. That's this year. And it'll be when we have division games, there's a chance that the division teams that are playing each other will come out in these super cool city type uniforms, and it's going to be kind of comparable to what we saw in the NBA with the city jerseys, in Major League Baseball as well. All the teams have these jerseys that they wear very, very rarely, but they do wear them, and that's kind of the thing that I'm seeing. So I hope, because I don't know if you guys have seen the Miami Heat's jersey from the NBA, where it's very like Miami Vice-ish, with the hot pink and the lighter colored teal, and I hope it's kind of something like that. And then I went on the internet and was looking around, and I kind of found an alternate jersey here that I wanted to show, kind of something like this. Obviously, this isn't what it's going to be. I'm sure it'll be something different. But look, I'm not much of a pink guy. I mean, like I'm not much for pink, but that looks pretty freaking cool. I love the black, with the pink on top. I think that's a really cool jersey. I'd like to see something like that. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm imagining it'll be something with those Miami Vice style colors, the pinks and the pastel type colors, which will be cool. I'm not even gonna front. If it ends up being something completely different, fine, whatever. I'm good with it. It is what it is. I think it's kind of neat. I like alternate jerseys. I like the fact that we have this year. We're going to be able to wear our classic jerseys 2 more times. I think 1 more time at least. 1 more time, as more than we did last year. The NFL approved teams to wear their jerseys that are alternate or classic more times than not. So hopefully that happens. I'd like to see the classic jerseys a little more. But the one thing I notice is we wear our super classic jerseys, the 70s and 80s style jerseys, a couple times a year, once a year, whatever. But does anybody remember the last time we wore the 2000s jerseys? Those were my favorites. Like, we need to be wearing those. Why can't we have, now that we have more times where we can use those special jerseys, why can't we have the early 2000s style Dolphins jerseys that kind of more of the classic look, but not quite the same, a little cooler in my opinion. I'd like to see that. So I don't know. As far as the rivalry jersey, I kind of would like to see something like that, something with the pink involved. I think that's kind of neat. I'm not even much of a pink guy, but I would buy that jersey. Well, we'll see what happens. Who knows? But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen there. I just like different kinds of jerseys. I think it's a good idea. I'm kind of curious to see what the Jets are and the Patriots and the Bills. I wonder what everybody's going to be doing. All these teams, because next year there's going to be another division that's going to be involved in it too. And I'm excited to see what the jerseys are all going to look like. I think it'll be pretty neat. Anybody who's in here, is my voice coming through clear? I've had a couple issues when I'm live streaming that the volume coming out of my microphone has been very quiet. So I just wanted to make sure that this is actually working this time. So if you hear me, comment. Tell me you hear me. That'd be great. So beyond that, that's all I really have for the alternate jersey thing. I just wanted to briefly touch on that before we get into some of the more involved stuff here that I wanted to talk about. I'm really excited. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. I was just curious. Like I said, the last couple live streams I did, you could hear me, but it was very, very quiet, like to the point where a lot of people had to like max volume and they still couldn't hear me. So I think I fixed it. I think it's working better, but thanks for confirming. Appreciate it. But that's where we're at with the jersey thing. Nothing else to talk about there. What I do want to talk about now and get into some of this other stuff that's a little more important relative to actual Miami Dolphins stuff is I wanted to start with this schedule. Now, we don't know the order of the games, and we don't know the times, and we don't know when this is going to happen. We just know our opponents right at this moment. Now, I'm going to pop up our home team, our home games first, and you guys can look at it. It's pretty simple. I mean, we got the usual suspects, Bills, Patriots, and Jets. We know that's going to happen at home and away. But for the home games, Bills, Patriots, Jets, Ravens, Bengals, Chargers, Saints, Buccaneers, Commanders. That is not an easy schedule. I see 2 games that are going to be easier than the rest. The rest are going to be very difficult. And the 2 games that I'm saying are easier aren't even going to be easy. The Saints and the Buccaneers are probably the easiest 2 games on this list. Patriots and Jets, those are going to be tough games just because they're divisional, and division games are tough. So I'm considering all 3 of those top games, the Bills, Patriots, and Jets. Those are going to be pretty hard. Not easy for a schedule ever. Ravens, tough team. Bengals, tough team. Bengals have improved their defense a little bit, and they re-signed all the receivers. Not going to be an easy game there. Chargers going to charge sometimes, but they are a good team. Don't get it twisted. And I'm sure all of the people who didn't want Tua are going to watch that game with enthusiasm. And in fact, some of these Dolphins fans that hate Tua so much are probably going to be rooting against the Dolphins for it, just so that they can say what everybody knows they want to say. The Saints is probably the easiest game at home we have, and Buccaneers and Commanders, those are difficult games. I mean, Jaden Daniels is amazing, and he's playing very well at the end of last year, all through the year really. I don't foresee, like I said, the schedule we have this year, the teams we're playing are not easy. this is not an easy schedule for us to have, no matter how they slice it, however they put these teams in, when we play them, whatever. Doesn't matter. But I can tell you a couple things. Now, you'll notice that there is 9 home games scheduled here. For those of you that don't know, one of these home games will be played in Madrid, Spain. Now, I've actually been to Madrid, Spain, and it is an amazing place. There are a lot of Dolphins fans there, and it's cool for them that they get to actually see some NFL football there. It's going to be played in an amazing stadium there. I know it's going to be sold out, and it'll be heavy Dolphins fans no matter what team out of this list that we end up playing. However, there are some teams that I do not want to face in Spain. I feel like it would be a waste of a home game. I would like the hardest teams on this schedule to be played at home at the 1 o'clock slot for the hottest weather possible. The Dolphins deserve their home field advantage just like every other team does. We deserve that just like every other team. And that I mentioned earlier that the Dolphins always seem to get screwed by the schedule. Well, part of that is that the NFL goes out of their way to try to schedule games out of that 1 o'clock slot so that they don't have to play in the heat. Now, that would be all fine and dandy, but the only problem with that is that cold weather teams like the Bills and the Eagles and the Patriots and all these teams that play in the cold, Packers, they want to have games played in the snow. And so they schedule games during high snow times for home games for those teams. My point is that's fine too. I'm fine with that. But the Dolphins need to be allowed that same courtesy and be able to have their games played as much as possible in that 1 o'clock slot so that they can use the heat as their advantage, because that is part of their whole home field advantage. So, that being said, I do not want to waste one of these home games in Spain playing against the Bengals, the Ravens, the Bills. I don't want to play those teams in Spain. I want to play them at home in the 1 o'clock slot. Ideally, I would rather play the Commanders, the Buccaneers, the Saints, the Chargers even I would be okay with. Division games I really don't want to play overseas, and I don't think that's going to happen. So I think you could pretty much rule out the Bills, Patriots, and Jets as being that possible overseas game. I don't think that's going to happen. That would be absolutely retarded. Sorry, had to throw that out there. What's up, Cap? How you doing, buddy? Trying to talk about this schedule a little bit and how much it's going to frustrate me when they release it, because we all know what's going to happen. But rumor has it that the game overseas was either going to be, I'm hearing both. I'm hearing the Commanders and I'm hearing the Bengals. I would rather not play the Bengals overseas, but I mean, it is what it is. My main thing is I don't want to have our division games over there, and I don't want to play the Ravens over there either. The Commanders game, that would be ideal for me. From the rumors that I'm hearing, that would be the most ideal solution would be to play the Commanders overseas, or the Bucks or the Saints. But I'm not hearing rumors about the Bucks or Saints for that Madrid game. I'm hearing Commanders. So if it's the Commanders, that would be ideal because it's an NFC team, and it wouldn't really affect anything much for the playoffs other than our win-loss record. That would be what I would want. I would want to play an NFC team over in Madrid, Spain for that game, not an AFC team, and certainly not a division team. So hopefully that happens. But if you look at this as a whole for our home schedule, figuring one of those games is not going to be in Miami, no matter what team you pick out of these to be over there, this remainder of a home schedule for us is not easy. This schedule this year is a doozy. Now, as we get through and go into the away teams too, we need to keep in mind that through the progression of year to year to year to year, there's always going to be a few teams that everybody thought was going to be good that end up being absolute trash. Last year we had those teams too. San Francisco 49ers, everybody thought they were going to be great, and they came out and pooped the bed all year. There's other teams too. My point is that some of these teams, I'll bet you one or two of these teams on this list of teams that we look at and say, oh man, those guys are all really good teams. A couple of those teams are going to be trash. I don't know which ones it's going to be. I mean, we can look at schedule and we can look at the other team's draft picks and what they've done in free agency and who they've lost, and you can make a guess, but ultimately we don't know. If we did, there wouldn't be much point in even playing the season. We could just say, well, this team's better, so we're going to give them the virtual win and move on into the playoffs. Like you have to have a season for a reason. So, I mean, we're looking at this list going, oh my goodness, all these teams are good. And as far as we know, that's true, but some of them are not going to be as good as we think. It's natural. There's parity in the league, and it's going to happen this year just like every other year. What's up, Elwood? So, I mean, this is one of those things. We're looking at this home schedule. It looks daunting, yeah. And I think that we're going to have a hard schedule this year, period. But I don't think that all these teams are going to be great. Just not sure which ones. I think the Saints will be a little better this year, but who knows? I think the Buccaneers are going to take a slight step back this year as well. Chargers are probably going to stay about the same. Chargers going to Charger. And we'll see beyond that. The Bills, the Patriots, and the Jets, like I said, I've been on record this entire offseason saying it, and I'm saying it even more now. The AFC East is going to be one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL right now, coming up this year for sure. It's not going to be an easy division, and I see a lot of parity in the AFC East this year. So I don't see many sweeps coming for any team in the AFC East. I think there's going to be a lot of splits. So that's the home schedule. Doesn't look that easy, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the away team schedule. It's a pretty strong schedule too. So we have the three normals, the Bills, the Patriots, and the Jets. And just you watch, these games are mostly going to be at the end of the year because they want these games in the snow, which is why I think it's so important for us to have our home games, especially the division ones, early in the year when it's warm in Miami, where we can have a home field advantage, which the NFL probably won't let happen, but it should. It should be that way. Watch, they're going to put our Spain game in the beginning of the year so that we lose one of those hot weather games. Away teams. Bills, Patriots, Jets, like I said. Then we have the Browns, the Steelers, the Colts, the Falcons, and the Panthers. There are some good things here. The Colts, the Falcons, those are stadium teams, okay? Those teams we're probably going to end up playing in the beginning of the year if we go by what the NFL normally does to the Miami Dolphins. But I would like to see those two games be at the end of the year. Colts and Falcons near the end of the year. That would give us dome games, and that would help with the allergy to snow and cold weather that Miami seems to have. But I don't know if it's going to happen, but that would be nice. Panthers, doesn't really get cold there. Doesn't matter when that game is. The Falcons, the Panthers, and the Colts game, those could wind up being tough. They kind of have a sneaky game on in my mind. They kind of seem like games that we should win if I had to look at it right now. But, who knows what's actually going to happen. The Steelers and the Browns, I am never going to write the Browns off on a schedule, ever. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But I will never write the Browns off completely. So I'm not going to say we're going to win that game. This is a difficult schedule for the away. It's definitely, the away games seem easier as a whole when I look at this list as compared to the home games. Definitely seems a little easier. But I'm not going to sleep on this list. This is not something that I'm super, super stoked about having. The Steelers are always play tough, seems like no matter what, they're always going to finish with a winning record, and they're always going to be tough to play when they're at home. That game I'm circling as one of the hardest games on our away schedule. I'm also circling obviously the Bills game, and I'm not really feeling that way about the Jets, but I am feeling that way about this away Patriots game. The Patriots are going to be tough this year. So for this division this year, I do see a lot of parity, and ironically enough, what I'm seeing is most of the home teams for our AFC East are going to win their home games. I would almost be willing to put a bet down on that. It's going to be tough. We play each of those teams twice. I think that Buffalo, I'm not going to lie. I think Buffalo's a good team. I do. I think the Patriots are actually a much better team this year, too. Without seeing them play, I right now, if I gun to my head, if I had to guess, I would say the Patriots are going to be right in the mix. And so are the Jets. So are the Dolphins. This is going to be tough. Tough division. So what do we do? Well, I think that knowing the division is going to be tough. I think that the things that the front office in Miami is doing this offseason, I think it's encouraging. And obviously, it's not because of just sheer talent. I'm not looking at the players that we're bringing in and going, "Ooh, they're all so good." That's not my thought process in being encouraged with this. What's encouraging me is that whole attitude mindset thing. The thing that I'm always harping about on my channel. Every single episode I talk about it. Attitude and mindset on individual players lends itself to an identity for a team. The players that we've brought in the draft and in free agency all have a proper attitude and mindset. They're all fighters. They're all dogs. If you watch any of their tape, any of them, even our undrafted free agents, any of them, they all have that attitude that I got something to prove. I need to get through you so that I can continue with what I'm doing. They all have that attitude, and it's beautiful to me. Being somebody who, was a red shirt in college, that's me. That's what I was. I didn't have, some scholarship when I started. I had to really, really, really fight. I had to show that I had something to prove. Moved positions and everything just to try to find myself a place to play. So when I see other players that have that same attitude, first of all, I can recognize it. I can see it in the way they play. I look at them and I'm like, oh, that guy right there. When they talk, like when you hear Ollie Gordon talk about what he's going to do or what he thinks about when he has to block. I love hearing a running back say, I love to block. I love it. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to take you down, and I'm going to make you think twice before you come back here into this backfield and try to do something next time. That was awesome. That was the best thing I could have heard Ollie Gordon say. And then, I didn't watch too much tape on Ollie Gordon until he said that in an interview, and I was like, "Oh, let me go look at a little more of this guy." I went and watched some of his film, and he wasn't lying. The guy loves to block. You can see it in the way he attacks players. He's a beast. And it's not just him. It's all these guys. Savagnia has a mean streak. He's got a mean streak. Kenneth Grant, doesn't matter who you throw at him. You put 3 linemen on him, and he's still not moving. It's encouraging to see this. These are the things that we need going into a division like this year. It's going to be very competitive. These teams are very, very well matched. Yes, I will get to that, Elwood. Absolutely, that's a fantastic point. We need to run the ball. How do you impose your will against another team? It's not talent. You don't impose your will with talent. You impose your will with attitude and mindset. If you have the attitude like an Ollie Gordon or a Pharaoh Brown is another one of those guys that he will lay people out on blocks. These guys have been added to our team with that in mind, with run game in mind. Not just run game, but between tackles run game. Run game even off the tackle, but less stretch type plays and more take a cut and go through a hole type of run game. That's what we need. And knowing that and seeing the players that we've brought in, let's look at it from a goal line or 3rd and short, 4th and short type situation. Let's look at it from that situation. That's running situations, right? For the most part, it is, yeah. What have we done to improve that in this offseason? Ollie Gordon, Madison, Pharaoh Brown, Savagnia, James Daniels. These things have been added to this team to improve front blocking, to improve our offensive line, to improve our tight end room in the block situations, to give ourselves more than just one fullback that can block and not just chip. Like, Devin Achane, he can chip and flare out, but in goal line, you need a running back that can maintain a block or lay somebody out and move on to another person, which, shed through a hole and take another guy on. Those are the things that we need to run the ball effectively. We can't just make every run play a stretch play off to the left or off to the right or a sweep, like a jet sweep. We can't do that. We keep doing that, people are going to tee off on us, and that's what happened last year. They knew we couldn't run, and it ended up screwing everything over. And then pretty soon people are saying, oh, Mike McDaniel can't call plays, and, look at everything's a screen pass. Everything had to be a screen pass because nothing else was a possibility. Mike McDaniel's hands were tied. Now, I'm not going to say everything, like I said in the last stream. Not everything is not Mike McDaniel's fault. He was at fault for certain things. But lack of creativity on offense, it wasn't his fault. He could not make any other calls. He was trying to get plays downfield or get our team down the field. Yeah, dude, like I'm telling you, the issues we had last year in goal line and third and short and fourth and short situations, those are not going to be as prevalent this year. The things that have been done on this team will definitely, I guarantee it, definitely improve those situations. Now, if you think about just that improvement, our goal line and our third and short, fourth and short situational plays, you think about just that, how many of the games that we played would have likely wound up as a win instead of a loss if we had something along those lines last year? 1, 2, 3. Three games at least would have been way different. My point is that we are improving in certain areas, and the doom and gloom, we're going to win 3 games this year, the 4 games winning, it's not going to happen. We're not going to be that bad. Are we going to be great, fantastic? Are we going to win the division and go into the playoffs and win and go to the Super? No, I don't think so. I think this is a soft rebuild. I do not think it's a hard reset. And if it was a hard reset, we would not hang on to some of the players that we have, and we would not be drafting some of the needs that we have and signing some of the needs that we had. We would be letting it roll even more than we have been because we would want a higher draft pick next year. That's not what's going on here. It's not a hard reset. It's not doom and gloom. There are opportunities here for this team to play well and do well. Pardon me. Those of you that are in here, if you haven't, throw a like down. Make sure you guys get that in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Trying to grow this out a little bit. And since the larger YouTubers seem to be doing some flat ending on some of the newer YouTube channels, let's help me out here. Get some likes and some subscribes going. Tell your buddies, come check it out. So there are things that we're improving on. Things are going well. We should be impressed with some of the things that are happening. Absolutely. We need to be handing the ball off. I don't know, 30 times every game. I mean, it's obviously situational. If they can't seem to stop the run, if what we're doing is so dominant in the run game in a game, keep running the ball. Run it down their throats until they do something about it. And then as soon as they stack that box up, that's when you turn Tua loose. That's when you turn Tyreek Hill loose. That's when you tell Akine, go deep and put Tyreek in the slot and have him run a deep cross. Take your touchdowns when they're given to you, because if we have a run game, which I think we will this year, all the things we've done to improve the run game, it will be there. If we have that, the passing game opens back up again because teams won't be able to spread out as far as they have been. We've got the middle linebackers on defense against us when they're playing against our offense. We've got them shedding back 7 yards. That's unreal. They're staying almost completely out of the box because they know that we can't run the ball. Unreal. Thank you for the subscription, Nicholas. Appreciate it, buddy. Welcome to the channel. Thanks, Elwood. Appreciate that. I like I said, I don't know everything, but I do know some things about football. I do have some experience coaching, not on the college level for coaching. No, I played in college, but I've coached high school level football and Pee Wee and everything else, and like I know basics and fundamentals. And what I'm seeing here with this Miami Dolphins team is a new dedication to fundamentals and basic football principles. No more pretty, no more candy, no more none of that. I'm seeing a dedication to smash mouth football. I'm seeing a team, a front office, focus on third and short and goal line situations, recognizing that that's something we need to improve on, and recognizing, like I've been talking about all year, that if we can improve in those situations, we would have made the playoffs. I can't say we would have won a playoff game. I just don't know. But I know that if we would have done some things for our goal line and our running game, every other aspect of our game would have gotten better. Now, where does the running game start? Where does a good running game start? It starts with the offensive line. Absolutely. If you say anything else, you could have the crappiest running back in the world. You put him behind a good offensive line, he's falling over for 3 yards every time. 3 yards per carry, that's the goal. That's what you need to be a successful run game. At least 3 yards, 3.3 yards. It's not a lot. And if you can't run that, if you can't get that more times than not, you're not successful running the ball. And if you do that, then the teams are going to start teeing off on your passing game. And that's what we had last year. This can all be fixed. And furthermore, I'm seeing steps made by the Miami Dolphins to fix those issues. That's why I'm encouraged. Because it's not always about the best talent. It's not always about, well, what does this team look like on Pro Football's, Pro Football Network, and what does it look like in their rating system and PFF? It doesn't matter. I'm not concerned with that. What I'm concerned with is a team full of players who are fighters, a team full of players that have a proper attitude and mentality that will lend itself to a new identity of this football team as a whole. I said it once before, and I'll say it again, just like Mr. Spock on Star Trek said, consistent exposure results in a certain degree of contamination. So constant exposure, we have to constantly and consistently expose this team to positive attitudes and mentality. If we do that, those players that might not have the best mentality, work ethic, or things like that, they're going to fall off pretty quick, because once other players start showing that, they're either going to get along or they're going to end up getting out. Players like Cam Smith, he's gone. Either that or he steps the heck up this year. Yeah, no-name defense, that's a fantastic reference. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. It doesn't need to be big names. We don't need Jalen Ramsey. What we need is a positive attitude. We need hard workers. We need people who show up on time. That's what we need. It's going to happen. Are there growing pains sometimes when things like this happen, when you have a team going through a shift in their identity? Yeah, sometimes it happens. Which is why I'm not expecting much from this team record-wise and success-wise. I'm still thinking that we're going to be better than most people think this year. But what I'm more interested in is personal growth player-wise. I'm interested in what these younger guys can do when they come on the field. I'm interested in seeing some of these players if they can stay healthy. Basically, I'm in a personal evaluation player-wise during this season. I'm going to be evaluating players more than I'm evaluating team. I want to see how these guys do individually, how they are, what they're doing. Storm Duck, every single time that man touches the ball, every time that man goes on the field, Storm Duck improves. Is he great? I wouldn't say that. But if you have a player like Storm Duck that gets better and better every time he goes on the field, that's the kind of guy that you need to hang on to. Kader Kohus, he played wonderfully at the end of the year last year. He's getting better. These players we need to hang on to. Now, Cam Smith, I can't speak for. I can't even speak for him. I can't speak for Cam Smith. I don't know what to think about him. I think that this is going to be a sink or swim year for him. If he doesn't step up and earn that position at cornerback, I don't think that he's going to be on this team any longer. Just personally, that's my own thought. He's let's put it this way. He's getting beat out by 2 undrafted free agents on this team right now. There are 2 undrafted free agents that are playing way better than him. And if Cam Smith was doing just a little bit better, maybe he could have been the one that came and filled in when we had injuries last year instead of Storm Duck stepping up and playing 4 games. But no, it was Storm Duck that stepped in and played with almost no experience. And every game during that process, he got better. I like Storm Duck. I think he's going to be a good player for us. I think we need to hang on to him. But, we'll see. He's not a Pro Bowler or anything like that. But you want to keep these guys with the positive attitudes and the strong work ethics. You want to keep those guys. We are not as bad off as some people think. Are we in a perfect situation? Absolutely not. Do I like Chris Greer? No, I don't. I want him fired. I have more patience with Mike McDaniel this year than I do with Chris Greer. However, I will say, if Chris Greer is the one that was influencing these picks this year and these undrafted free agents, which we're going to get into in a minute, if Chris Greer was the one that did that, if he was the one that ran this draft, then I've got to give a little golf clap to Chris Greer. As much as I don't like him, I like the players we got this year. Every single one of them, all the way down the list. Are they the highest talent players? No. But they have the proper work ethic. They have the proper attitude. And they got something to prove. I like it. Like I said, I mentioned a few weeks ago on some stream that I thought that it would be the coolest thing ever if we pulled a scene from The Longest Yard and just, as soon as the game started, everybody just picks a fight with somebody. Just set the tone for the entire year. That's what I want to see. I want to see a big fight. I don't even care if some players get suspended for a game. So that's where we're at with everything so far. I want to look into our undrafted free agents. I think that there's some good things to look at there. I think it was 16 undrafted free agents that we ended up coming out with after the draft was over. Those 16 players. There's a bunch there, but there's a few that I wanted to talk about. Those players that I have kind of thinking about here. First of all, Eugene Asante. He's a linebacker. Yeah, it's one of the Lamar Miller games. Yep, that's the Colts and Dolphins. Yeah, it's Peyton Manning's first start. Old school, man. Eugene Asante is one of the first ones that I noticed that we signed in as an undrafted free agent. Eugene Asante, he's something special. He played at Auburn, but he's 6'1", 225 pounds, just a little beefcake, and he should have gone in the 5th round. I don't know how he did not get drafted, but I'm glad he didn't, and I'm glad we signed him. I'm glad that Chris Greer or whoever it was had the foresight to see him and be like, oh, no one signed him. Let's grab him right now. This guy could very well make the team. I don't know to what effect, but at very least special teams. And he's kind of like Willie Gay a little bit, but a little slightly more athletic, better hitter. Fantastic blitzer. He's going to make a difference on special teams if he makes the team. He's going to be one of those guys, and I like it. People who have something to prove on special teams are the ones that I think are good to pick up, especially for undrafted free agents. We'll see how preseason goes with him, and mini camps and everything like that. But I would keep your eyes on Eugene Asante. Okay, that's one of those ones we need to look at. Another one, Jalen Conyers. Yeah, another Jalen, and it's spelled differently again. So that's like what 4 or 5 different Jalens we'll have if we keep him. He's a tight end from Texas Tech. He's another big guy, 6'4", 260 pounds. He's like a lineman. Eugene is definitely better than Channing Tindall, for sure. That's the position that I'm thinking Tindall. I'm thinking Tindall's going to be off the team this year. I think that experiment is just about over. And if that happens, I think Eugene would be a better addition. Eugene Asante is way better than Channing Tindall. Jalen Conyers, 6'4", 260 pounds, and I had him going in the 6th round somewhere or early 7th round. He didn't get drafted. It's not too much of a surprise, but he's got good hands and he's very large. He's not going to get moved off his spot. You're not going to be able to get hands on him and keep him from going where he wants to go. The man will wind up where he needs to be. Also, the cool thing about him, and I'm not saying we should do this, but he can run the Wildcat. The dude's got touchdown passes, not catches, passes from last year. He can run the Wildcat. He can throw. I mean, the guy is a complete package. He's a little raw, which, I mean, that's not that bad of a deal. He's also an ex-basketball player. He's fantastic hands. He can go up and get the ball. This is the kind of tight end you want, especially goal line situations. You want this guy on our team. So, Jalen Conyers, we should all hope and pray that Conyers does well in preseason and winds up on this team. If he does, we will not regret giving him a spot. Guaranteed. So, something to think about there. Another one that I kind of got my eyes on, B.J. Adams. Now, this guy is a cornerback. He's, let me see, 6'2", 185 pounds. So he's not huge. But he should have gone in the 5th round. I'll just be straight up. He should have gone in the 5th round. And I was kind of impressed that we ended up picking him up. I was shocked that no one drafted him. He's one of those players that I thought for sure would be gone. And he ended up staying around. I don't understand. But this guy is a heat-seeking missile on the field. He is one of the most competitive cornerbacks I have ever seen in college football. He is unreal. The guy has a switch. One of the nicest dudes off the field, and as soon as he steps foot off that sideline and onto the field, as soon as his feet touch numbers, the guy is a beast. He's all seriousness. He's got no jokes for anybody on the field. I love it. He's a leader. Also, another guy that's going to wind up decimating in special teams. He loves to lay the big hit. This is the kind of guy you want on special teams. I'm saying right now, B.J. Adams is going to make the team. 5th, maybe 6th if we end up having one. Fifth cornerback position. I think it's going to be him. I don't see many people taking that away. I think he's going to end up earning it. But here's a couple that I do want to talk about, and these guys, I'm like I said, our undrafted free agent class, I'm excited about. Theo Weiss, wide receiver from Missouri. This guy, he is huge, 6'3", 200 pounds. He should have been drafted 6th round. I had him in the 5th, into the 5th, beginning of the 6th, but he should have been drafted. 3rd downs, red zone, goal line. This is where this guy would make his money. He has that ability to go up, just like the tight end we talked about, Conyers. He has that ability to go up, get the ball, and not let anybody else come down with it. He can jump. This guy is huge. He started his career in Oklahoma and then went to Missouri. He's not really fast, like per se, but once again, if you're on goal line and short yardage situations, you don't need a ton of speed. What you need is a guy that won't get taken off his spot, that can go up and get the ball and not get laid out. That's Theo Weiss. He's a beefcake. I want to see that man succeed. I want to see him stay on the team. The other one, Andrew Armstrong, wide receiver from Arkansas. Same deal with this guy, except he's even bigger, 6'4", 205 pounds. Another guy that should have gone in the 6th round and just didn't. I don't understand. It seems like teams didn't want big receivers in this draft. I don't get it. He's huge. Same deal with Weiss. Andrew Armstrong is just he's a beast. He goes up, he gets the ball. He's huge. He has great hands. Those two guys, Andrew Armstrong and Theo Weiss, one of those guys should make the team. We need one or two big receivers, and this is a chance for us to get it. I would love to see one of those guys make the team, and that would be a different kind of weapon than what we're used to having in the wide receiver room for this team. It would help two out of the bunch to be able to just huck one up to the corner and let him go up and get it. And he's big enough where you can't just push him out of bounds. He'll maintain his spot. Good hands, good balance. Fantastic route running from those two guys. Like, I'm excited. Our undrafted, and there's, oh man, I could do this forever. I'm gonna chill with the undrafted free agents because I don't want to be that guy that says all these undrafted free agents are gonna make the team. But there's so many. A couple linemen that we picked up, 2 of them out of Western Michigan. Those guys are unreal. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw 5 or 6 undrafted free agents make this team. I wouldn't be shocked. And if we do that, I'm beyond encouraged. If you find undrafted free agents that are able to play at an NFL level and can be contributors, maybe not starters, I'm not saying that, but can contribute in some way, even if it's special teams, I think you've had a very successful undrafted free agency. I do think 5 or 6 of those undrafted free agents will make the team. I just gave you that list of the ones that I think would be decent. I'm really excited about Conyers, and I do think that he is better than Hill. So we'll see what happens there. I think Channing Tindall's going to lose his job this year to an undrafted free agent, and I'd be okay with it. Yeah, exactly. Hill, Waddle, Westbrook, Washington, Armstrong, and Theo. Yeah, that would be a pretty strong wide receiver room. I would be super excited to have that. Man, thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate you guys. Check in the chat. Tell me how you guys are all doing. Help me out here. It's a beautiful Saturday. Hope everybody's having a good one and not just an okay Saturday. So we've talked about the undrafted free agent list. The one thing I kind of wanted to touch on here, and I know I'm going long, I'm at 50 minutes, but I kind of wanted to chat about free agency a little bit. We have some needs on this team, right? We know what they are. It's cornerback. We still need 2 cornerbacks because we should be thinking Jalen Ramsey is not going to be with the team. And if you still are of the party that says, I think Ezekama's gone. Yeah. If you're still in the party that says we need to keep Jalen Ramsey, I disagree. Okay? He's obviously jaded and Monterey Baldwin's another one. Yep. That's a good point. Like I said, we can go on about these undrafted free agents for a long time because there's so many. It's a fantastic draft class for undrafted free agents for us. And a good draft class too. Like I said, if it's Chris Greer that did this draft, if his signature is on all this, then golf clap for Chris Greer. Golf clap in the chat. I'm telling you. But this doesn't seem like a Chris Greer thing. This draft seems like somebody else had their little feelers all up in this. I don't know who, but hopefully if it is Chris Greer, hopefully it signifies that he's actually learning and changing some of his stupid ways. So, but we have needs, right? We have a need at cornerback. We need 2 cornerbacks. We shouldn't want Jalen Ramsey because nobody wants that drama. Nobody wants a disturbed player on our team during a season. We don't want that. We know what that's like. We don't want that. We want players who want to be here. So we consider him going to be gone. Okay, we have needs. We have 2 cornerbacks that we need to look for, probably. I would say definitely need to get 1 in free agency before the season starts. 1. Let's go with that because we have other players that could very well step up and play. If not 1 person, we could do a committee situation where more than 1 takes over for that second place. Yeah, we'll get into some of that here in a second. I would for sure. 1 cornerback. I would like to sign 1 safety as well. 1 cornerback, 1 safety. What else do we need? I would like a little more depth at offensive line and a little more depth at defensive line. But we don't need much there. As far as defensive line goes, I want to see how some of the players on our team actually progress during the offseason before we start looking. There's not much for defensive line players in free agency right now. There's just not much there. So I don't think we need to be looking right now. Right now, this moment, we should be looking for free agent safety and a free agent cornerback. Right now. And you guys are about to hear me say something that I never thought I would have said. I think TD might have been right on one thing. TD Fins Talk. I think he was right about something. I agreed with him on a point he made in a stream of his a while back, maybe a few days ago. I think we'll get a draft pick for Ramsey. I think we'll probably get a 4th round. I don't think we're going to get a 3rd. We traded a 3rd for him. I don't think we're going to get a 3rd back. I think we'll wind up getting a 4th or a 5th or a 6th and a 5th or something like that. I think we'll get something for him, but it was not going to be much because we're looking for someone to take over some of that contract. So that's kind of where we're at with it. But TD's TD. TD Fins Talk said, with the cornerbacks that we're looking at, they all have a pretty heavy injury history, and they're getting older. They're over 30, most of the ones we're looking at. Now, he's right. That's some of the rumors are for 30-plus-year-old cornerbacks that have some injury history and couldn't stay healthy, or had a good year and the rest of the years were trash. So my point is for cornerback, we're going to be taking a chance on somebody. We're going to be taking a chance. So you Dolphins fans, get prepared. There's going to be a chance taken on cornerback. So his point was that why don't we just take a look at oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. I hate it when my brain does this. Ugh. Help me out here, guys. Oh my goodness. I need to stop. I need to get some sleep. Well, I'll get back to that in a second. Sorry. We'll get back to that in a second. Let's look at this real quick. Let's pull up our free agents here. Now, we have $17.25 million right now. $17.25 million. Okay? Now, if we get rid of Jalen Ramsey post June 1st, that'll add $6 million roughly. So we'd be looking at about $23.5 million. Okay? Knowing that, let's see here. What is going on? Bear with me. Okay, let me check one thing real quick here. Okay. Now, that'll leave us with about $23 million, but right now we have 17.25, okay? And what I have here is I have the free agent list for the NFL, and if we go down here and we look at safety, I want to look at safety really, really quick. TD, I'm sorry. TD was saying that he thinks that we should give a look at Xavier Howard. And I know he's been out for a year, but if you're looking at a bunch of injured, possibly washed up players, what would it hurt to take a look at Xavier Howard? I almost feel like that's actually might be a decent little idea. Just not sign him right now. I'm just saying take a look. You're already paying him anyway. We're still paying him money. $25 million this year. Might as well take a look. I mean, goodness. So, yeah, let's take a look at Jalen Ramsey or Xavier Howard. So, anyway, if we're looking at free agency, we need to take a look at safety real quick because there's one person on this list for safety that I think that we need to take a look at. Where is he? Let's see. Okay. Where did he go? Oh my goodness. Anybody hate ads like I do? Goodness. All right. Sorry. I'm drawing a blank here. Okay. Julian Blackmon from Indianapolis. His previous salary was $3,700,000. His market is about $8 million, but this is not only a good player. Julian Blackmon is an extremely good scheme fit, okay? He's young. He's only 28 years old, okay? He's got 7 years experience in the league. I'm sorry. He's 26 and a half years old. He's got 5 years experience in the league. And his value is set at about $8 million. His last contract was $3,700,000. I think you could probably land this guy for around $7 to $8 million for sure. And Julian Blackmon is a little beast. He's a little fighter. He doesn't quit. He's got a motor on him. And this would be that veteran player that we could add to our safety room that would help out all these other younger players. And I do think that I do think that Iffy is going to be a starter this year. If he has that kind of ability to do a lot of different things with the team, and he's going to be having a chance to prove that. So, yeah, that's a possibility for us for sure. Josh, what's up, man? How you doing, dude? Good to see you, man. Talking about some of these free agents. I had like 4 things going on there just now, guys, so sorry about the kind of spacey talking. I'm back. Julian Blackmon is a beast. He's unstoppable. I'd love to have him on the team. Super inexpensive. You could pick him up for $7 million. And if we do nothing with Jalen Ramsey yet, we just think $17,250,000, which is what we have available to us in the cap. You're looking at us still having about $10 million, $10.5 million to work with after signing him. Julian Blackmon already did an interview in Indianapolis with some Indianapolis people and mentioned that he would love to come to Miami and play. He's still looking for a home. The Colts are not going to sign him. Why? Because right now they can't really afford him because they're trying to take care of other things. So this is not a player that they really want to get rid of, but they're going to have to. He's just finished his rookie contract, and he's going to want a raise. We do have the ability to pay this man, and this would be a significant improvement to our safety room. There are other safeties available on this list, but this is the one, Julian Blackmon, that I'm set on. I would love to have him. Okay? So that's kind of where I'm at with our free agents for safety. There are other ones there, like I said. Jordan Whitehead's another good option. There's a couple in here also that are good fits. Justin Simmons is a good fit. He wouldn't be asking for much money. However, he is 32 years old almost, but he would be a good scheme fit and he would work out well. Justin Simmons, another one to think about. There are options at safety right now at free agent. That's why I think for cornerback and safety, we need to address those 2 needs right now. We need a cornerback. We need a safety badly. I don't necessarily think we need 2. I think we have other players in place that could step up, but we need one of each for sure. Let's take a look at cornerback. There are some abilities or some availabilities here. let me look at this real quick. Yeah. Now Ashton Davis though he is going to be good, and I agree with you there. With you there, Elwood. Ashton Davis will be good, but I don't think he's going to be a starter. I think he's going to be more of a situational cornerback. He's a heat-seeking missile. He's going to be used for certain situations, but I do think he's going to be good for us, and I'm very happy to have him. But I think if he's going to be a starter, not Ashton Davis. But I'm glad he's with us though. Do you think there's any chance Fuller comes back on the cheap, given that he knows our defense? I mean, I haven't heard anything that he's going to come back, but he is available. And I wouldn't mind having him back. He's not going to take a lot of money. I mean, he's over 30 years old, okay? So, I mean, yes, his previous annual salary was $7.5 million. I don't think we're going to have to pay him that much to come back. We could have him back, and I would be okay with that. I mean, he does have some injuries. I mean, he did have, a couple injuries last year, concussion, a knee injury, and a couple other things. But I would be okay with him coming back. Right now, there's rumors that we're working on a contract with James Bradbury. He's 32 years old. He's got a lot of injuries. And I mean, his last salary was $13 million. So I don't know if he's going to be the way to go. He is an option. Stephon Gilmore is another option. He's 35 years old, though. Like some of these guys are just old. Rasul Douglas, he had one good year, if we're being realistic. He had one really good year. I'm not fronting. He's got a little bit of injury history. He's got 9 years experience, though, so he is very experienced. But that market value on him at $12 million, 31 years old, and injuries, and one really good year, I just don't know if it's worth it. Like I said, I wouldn't complain, because right now a veteran in this cornerback room would be huge. Okay? But my point is, as far as cornerback goes, there are options. We have players we can look at. It's not doom and gloom for the cornerback and safety room. And also, I want people to think about this. What is the one thing that helps out our defensive backs more than anything else? A strong defensive line and a strong pass rush from our edge rushers. So defensive line and our outside linebackers are what's going to help this team do right. That's what's going to help this team more so than anything else. Yeah, Bradbury, I'm not sure those are good moves. But they're options. I'm not sure what they're going to do at cornerback. Like I said, I do like some of the younger players we have. It's just a matter of they need to step up for once. They need to do something. And will they? Yeah, Newsom is another one. Yep. You guys are right. There's so with this, there are options. Yep, I see the comments for Bex. Blackman. Yep. These are all options. We have options. But with this whole thing, if you have any cornerback in the NFL, and you expect them to cover a receiver for longer than 5 seconds, they're going to get beat. Except for the insane shutdown all-pro type cornerback. But even Jalen Ramsey was getting beat when he had to cover somebody more than 4 or 5 seconds. So my point is this, is we have these players on the defensive line and edge room right now this year that our pass rush is going to be insane. And this should lend a little bit of confidence to the cornerback room, whoever ends up being back there playing. Because I don't foresee a lot of instances where a quarterback is going to be able to just go stand back there behind the line of scrimmage and just wait for players to get open. I foresee a hard time for quarterbacks playing against our defensive line. So when you have a solid defensive pass rush, our cornerbacks will be getting extreme help from that. So I think we're going to be okay. I really genuinely do. I'm curious to see how this all shapes up, though. I mean, realistically, guys, it could be a train wreck. It very well could be. I don't see it that way. I'm gonna stand on this mountain, and I'm gonna be right here at the end of the season too. So if I'm wrong, feel free to come right back here and rub it in my face. But I think our pass rush is going to be strong enough to assist our defensive backs, our safeties, and our cornerbacks. I think they're going to be receiving assistance from our defensive line this year. Last year we didn't have much of a pass rush. This year it's going to be a little different. Um, I do think we need one veteran safety presence and one veteran cornerback for this team. Beyond that, I'm just not sure who it's going to be. But I do think that it would be silly not to at least give X a workout. Let Xavier Howard come in and let him work out and see how he is. Like I said, we're already paying that man money. So might as well let him come in and take a workout and see if, he looks like he could handle it. His biggest thing was the injury this nagging injury that he kept having. And a year off might be exactly what he needed to finally get over some of that. Now, the only question is he did lose a significant amount of speed his last year. Will he still be able to cover? Who knows? But I think it's worth looking at him. Yeah, Kenneth Grant's probably going to be playing a 3 technique. Yeah, definitely. He might touch nose tackle a couple times in different situations, but we do have other players that can run that nose tackle position. So, yeah, lots of kids too. But you never know. I mean, we at this point we just need to continue doing what they're doing, I guess, and look at work ethic and stuff like that and attitude, like you just said, Josh. I think whatever they do, if they just stick with the program with what they seem to be doing, I'd be okay with seeing what they do. I don't know who it's going to be. No idea, but I do think that as far as safeties go, you shouldn't be looking beyond Julian Blackman. I think that man, it would be perfect addition to this team. But as far as free agents go, that's what I got. That's what I really feel like we need at this moment, especially with the undrafted free agents that we signed. I want to see how they do before we start freaking out and saying we need other things. I think that our pass game will be improved this year just because of our availability to have a run game this year. I think that's going to make everything better, and I think that's going to be made better mainly because we have a much better offensive line. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it, a razor's edge. Who knows how this is going to work out? Like I said, this is going to be interesting, guys. This is going to be an interesting season. And I think that, like I said, I'm more excited to look at this from a personal player development standpoint this season and individual players and how they all meld together, how they play. I'm not going to go into this season expecting Super Bowl. I'm not going to go into it expecting a certain amount of wins. I know I'd like to see that, but what I'm more excited about is player development. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Some of these players on this team, can they maintain their position on the team? Can they improve? Can they grow? Exactly. Cornerbacks don't have to cover long if we have what I think we have on our defensive front. Yeah, and that's one of the other things I forgot to make. Thank you, I forgot to mention that we were one of the oldest teams in the NFL, and then this year we're one of the youngest. I like it. I'm happy about that. These are the things that you need to do when you're in a soft rebuild. As much as Miami doesn't want to admit that they're in a soft rebuild, this is a soft rebuild. So you want young players to come in, and you want players to step up. You want to have faith in those no-name players. It's exciting. Anyway, I've kind of gone a little too long, but I've just been having fun. And thank you guys for coming in here and listening to me talk about this team and have a good old time with me. I appreciate each of you guys for coming in. I will be doing something probably Tuesday, but I'm not positive yet. I'm kind of putting together a video, so be looking for that. If you guys haven't subscribed, throw a subscription down. If you haven't liked this video, please do that as well. Check out some of my other videos. I put out a lot of content. I know it's not the most professional, but I work hard on it. Oh man, I think that Tua staying healthy is a big part of this. Yeah, I agree, Elwood. It's if Tua can't stay healthy, a lot of things are going to go down the drain. He needs to stay healthy if he wants to be that guy. If he wants to be QB1, he's got to stay healthy. Beyond his health, I'm not concerned about much with Tua's game. It's the health that's the big concern. So we'll see how it goes. We're creeping closer and closer to the season, and it gets more and more exciting the closer we get. Until I talk to you guys next time, thanks for watching. Fins up. Stay hopeful if you can. I'm going to be trying.